Hey everybody, it's crazy. I don't know, it's about 5:30 here right now, and lo and behold, about 3:30 the skies opened up, and it's just been non-stop torrential downpour. Just crazy. So all this technical stuff and all this equipment, a lot of times you have to really make sure things are plugged in and things don't go blinking with power surges, and hopefully I'll make it through today's broadcast without going blank, because I got a lot of stuff to talk to you about. And so fingers crossed, and let's see what happens. So anyway, as you guys may know, I am Barry Cunningham. I am a real estate investor and a burgeoning real estate developer here in the South Florida market. Actually, I buy houses everywhere. Even nationally, I've bought some houses. So if you've got a deal, just let me know. We're looking to buy properties. We're looking to actually use capitalism for what it's for and actually make some money. We're not afraid of the market that's going on today. In fact, let me just put this up here real quick. Something that Warren Buffett said, and I've been talking about for quite some time here on my real estate shows, is Warren Buffett has said, "I will tell you how to become rich. Just close the doors. Be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful." I love that. Do you think there's some fear going on right now? Do you think there's some fear going on in this country that people are just wigged out that we're all going to die? They're reading all these crap on Twitter, and they think that, especially down here in South Florida, oh, it's the worst corona numbers in history. It's 3,000 cases per day. It's just the sky's falling in. Believe it or not, I've even had a really good friend who unfortunately lives in Ground Zero area up in the New York metropolitan area, not quite in Manhattan. And yesterday I had posted a comment on my Instagram page, and here was what I posted. I posted that, get off of Twitter. Social media is not real life. And I posted that because social media isn't real life. Anybody, trolls, bots, everybody is tweeting something at any time. It's so easy just to go ahead and click a button and say whatever you want. Florida's going crazy. We're all going to die. And some people, well, actually a lot of people, are buying into that. They're buying into the fear. They're buying into the fact that, we may need to close the economy again because, again, they're fearful. They're afraid. And I'm not saying that my buddy's fearful and afraid. He may just be misguided, might have misinformation, maybe listening to people and not getting the entire picture. I know he's got some friends in Miami who are really concerned, and Miami-Dade has been a hotbed for this stuff. High density area, not the same as Palm Beach County, and certainly not the same as the rest of the state. I wonder if he knows. I wonder if a lot of people know that there are 21 million people in the state of Florida. I have to keep saying that. 21 million people in the state of Florida. Bigger than New York. Or close to it anyways. So anyway, there's fear everywhere. And when I see this kind of fear, this tells me that we need to be ready to capitalize. We need to be making money. We need to be setting ourselves up to be able to profit through this. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Nobody should be ashamed to say that. Nobody should be fearful that it's time to capitalize on the opportunity. I didn't create this opportunity. You didn't create this opportunity. But nonetheless, the opportunity is there. Our inner cities are on fire. Literally. Our inner cities are being destroyed. Literally. People have lost their jobs. They have lost their livelihoods. They have lost basically places to live. And they're going to be looking to us to fix that. When I say us, those in the real estate business. So anyway, I posted this and said, don't believe what you see on social media. It's not real life. And I hope you can see this, but I had to, I browned out his name because I didn't want to, expose this. And he says, fingers crossed for you and any other state seeing surges. Surges of what? Cases? What does that mean? I trust the surgeons we have in our family and police in Miami who are clearly concerned. I'd rather get the real news and preventative facts from, oh no, he mentions Fauci. I almost said it, but F Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci can go stick it where the sun doesn't shine, but let's keep going. He'd rather have the news from Fauci than what's coming out of POTUS. Okay. You can't really believe this Tulsa rally is a good idea. Stay safe. Well, you don't want to believe the president, I understand, but you want to believe this guy Fauci, who has changed his opinion, who has admitted to lying, admitted that he falsified information, who has changed his opinion so many different times. But you want to rely on Fauci. How about you rely on actual data from the Florida Department of Health? Not Fauci, not even the president, but the actual data that's being distributed and plainly viewed on the state of Florida. And like I said yesterday, if you don't believe the data, I can't help you. Tune out. I don't have time for the conspiracy theories. I want to do business on data. So before I get to the empirical data, I want to talk about the, life data of myself and my wife living here and going out to dinner at restaurants, going shopping, her flying to North Carolina to visit her family when her cousin just passed away. We're fine. Hey, everything's okay. No sniffles. Definitely no fever. I went to the doctor. Doctor said, hey, listen, there's something wrong with your temperature. And I was like, oh boy, what's wrong? And he had to take it like 3 times. My temperature was too low. I didn't have a fever. I had a low temperature. He goes, what's going on? I said, well, I rode here and I turned the AC down to 50. But other than that, I feel fine. And he goes, oh, okay, well, you are fine. So just go ahead, take off. Everyone's rocking around with the mask. Oh God, you're all going to die. No, it's not true. So I digress, and I'm going to go to the board, which, again, you people have got to read the data, and if you don't like the data, I can't help you. But let's just look at the actual data. This is from the Florida Department of Health government site. The actual government is putting out these numbers. The Florida Department of Health, not run by a whole bunch of conspiracy theorists. And again, if you don't believe it, I can't help you. But these are the actual numbers being given out. And as you can say, it is updated every day at approximately 11 a.m. I'm going to refresh it just to see if anything new happens. And it's refreshed. And we have the new numbers. Oh my God. The cases in Florida are skyrocketing. Absolutely shooting through the moon. Look at this. We've gone from a low of, say, 475 cases per day. Now we're up around 3,000 cases per day. People are being infected. We're all gonna die. Oh, I gotta move my big head because there's something I gotta show you. You see this chart? This chart, where my mouse is, lower right, is the number of deaths in that same period of time. So as of yesterday, when we had 3,000 or so cases, we had 5 people die. 5. No matter how you slice it, 5. In a state of 21 million people, 21 million people, we've had a total of, unfortunately, I'm not going to diminish anybody passing away, but we had a total of 5 deaths in the entire state of Florida. The entire state. But you won't hear that on the news. All they want to talk about is how many cases, how many people are infected, how many people have caught the corona. Now, in this period of time, as you're looking at this graph, because people will say, well, watch what happens in 2 weeks, they're all going to die. Well, this is from all the way to May 25th, 6/1, which is June 1st, and we started seeing the uptick. And do you see something here? You don't have to be a math genius to understand charts. But as the cases are rising, the deaths are declining, dropping off the chart, completely flatlining. Look at this. Cases way up, deaths way down. Why is that? Are we getting better with the testing? Are we testing more people? Are we getting better with treatment? Why are we focused so much on how many people caught the virus? Why are we focusing so much? Why is that on every single newscast? Every single newscast here locally, every time you look, or if you go online to the Palm Beach Post or the Sun Sentinel, it's the first story. Oh my God, 3,000 people, the most ever in a day, caught the COVID. There's an intentional thing here to scare people. Nobody's dying anymore. Even back to June 1st, they had 40 people. 40 people died in a state of 21 million people. So let me ask you a question. If you knew that 5 people were going to die today in a car accident, would you stop driving? Probably not. If you knew that 5 people were going to die today because they were drinking beer, you think the whole population is going to stop drinking beer? Nope, it's not going to happen. So you tell me why I hear that 3,000 people were infected or caught the COVID, yet only 5 people died, 11 the day before, 14 the day before that. We're going to stop living our lives down here. Why are we going to stop living our lives? Why are we not capitalizing on this opportunity of fear? You know, as Warren said, you got to understand, this is the time to make money. I'm not ashamed of that. I have to keep saying that because people scream at me, you're a bottom feeder, you're sucking the life out of people. No. It's not their money I'm making money with. It's not their sickness that I'm making money with. I'm going to show you where the money is coming from and how you can take advantage of it if you decide to. If not, there's a lot of ancillary businesses you can work with to help with the COVID and what's going on, and then from there you can decide how you want to capitalize on fear. That's what I'm looking at. So let me take you to someplace else. I keep having to show this to people. You go into another tab here, and it's the amount of tests. And as you can see, 1.5 million people have been tested here in the state of Florida. 1.5 million. So 1.4 million have tested negative. 1.4 million. Let me know if you've heard that stat anywhere. Go ahead and raise your hand. Please raise your hand if you've heard that stat. I'm going to guarantee you that you probably haven't. I'm going to say there's a strong likelihood that you've not been told this information on purpose. It's right there. There's no reason you shouldn't have heard that. Well, yeah, there is a reason. And that reason is, obviously, they want you afraid. The more you're afraid, the more you're captive. The more you're captive, the more they can control you. That's them, not me. I'm not going to allow myself to be controlled by fear. So anyway, as we go back and look at this number here in the lower left of the column. Only 5.7% of people tested have been tested positive. Only 5.7%. Listen, people, we're going to say to 21 million people. People die every single day. People get sick every single day. But we don't stop living because an infinitesimal amount of people test positive, and then a smaller, minute, infinitesimal amount of people are actually succumbing to this disease. So I guess what I'll do is as many people keeps complaining and being naysayers, I'll cover this information because nobody else is talking about it. You're not going to see it on Twitter. You're not going to see it on your local news. You're not going to see it in the newspaper, whoever looks at that fish print. And even if you go on the online version, nobody shows you this information. It's readily available, but even some of my dearest friends don't understand the data. All right, so if making money during times when people are fearful is important, then I want to share something with you. When you're driving around Miami, Fort Lauderdale, any big city in the state of Florida, there's a couple things I want you to take notice of. And a couple of those things are pretty obvious to see. You ever notice those things right there? You ever see those cranes hanging out over the metropolitan area? You're driving around and you're looking up, and there's cranes everywhere. How is it that those businesses are continuing when you can't even go to a restaurant? When you can't go get your clothes from the dry cleaners? When you can't, take a walk in a park? My wife likes these nature walks in the Everglades, and they've got it closed because people might be too close together on the boardwalk. And then, you look around and these things are simply everywhere. Why is that? Think to yourself, what's going on? Well, as we know, construction was considered an essential business in the state of Florida, maybe in other states as well. An essential business. It never closed. It kept going. There was no stoppage of work in the construction industry. Do you think some people knew that there was some money to be made? That there was an opportunity dead ahead? Do you know that the wheel of construction and redevelopment and new development never stopped? Prove me wrong. Drive through any big city, even some smaller cities, and see if you see people doing construction, if you see contractors out there doing work. Contractors of all sizes. We had a problem with our plumbing in the house here. I called him. He showed up. He worked. His phone was going off the hook. He had work to do. Do you think there's a reason why there were certain businesses that were designated essential? The plumber that worked on my house was literally 3 feet away from me. I didn't get sick. I told him to take off the doggone mask. I don't succumb to that. Oh, now, by the way, that was 2 weeks ago, and I'm not sick. So when you're driving around and you're seeing all this stuff, there's two things. There are two things that I want you to be aware of. Construction never stopped. Redevelopment never stopped. New development never stopped. And the money flowing to this industry never stopped. In fact, it got better. I've got a friend, who's a real estate agent on the southwest side of the state. Hopefully I can get her on an interview on Monday. And she's going to talk about how business never changed. It actually got better. There are more people buying houses. She said she's getting cash deals and people are buying houses sight unseen. That's incredible. And I know it's to be true because I'm buying houses sight unseen. Let me show you something. So, a couple things showed up on Twitter today. This was pretty interesting. Hope you guys can see this. And it said the biggest topic amongst New Yorkers right now is what city, state should we move to? Yeah, that's true. as I've been saying, there's a mass exodus from the Northeast to get the hell out of New York. And it's not just the COVID. There's all kinds of things, because I know New York construction really hasn't stopped that much, but the people who want to live in the things they're building, not so much. That's just not going to happen so much. And it's because, again, of that fear. You know, you get guys like Fauci. Here he is again. This is why I just tell this guy, go stick a fork in him. You know, he gets on here and says that, that football shouldn't be played in 2020 because of the COVID. I won't even tell you what my response to him was today when I tweeted back at this inane, stupid, full of crap statement about there not being any football. I'm just not going to go there. It's absolutely insane what's going on. So what is happening? Well, I did some, as I talked to you yesterday about redevelopment and development, and we looked around at some things, and I'm starting to see a theme that's evolving. And take a look at this. This company broke ground on affordable homes in Tallahassee, and the name of the company is the Housing Trust Group. So I began searching the name, the Housing Trust Group, or HTG, to see what would happen. And HTG is very, very active. If you notice, the date on this article is June 12th. That's just a week ago. In the middle of COVID, in the middle of lockdown stuff, in the middle of people going crazy and telling us we can't play football, this company's doing deals. This company is doing some serious deals. So I want to take a second and go through some of the stuff that this article talks about. So Housing Trust Group in this particular article is going to do 96 apartments for who? Remember me talking about this yesterday? Low income qualifying residents, which means you have to have a ceiling on your income. The same exact people who are being displaced with the riots and the burnouts. And they're going to get beautiful apartments looking like this. I'm going to blow this up because I want you guys to pay attention to something here. I talked about it yesterday. So those of you who are math challenged, you may need to get out a calculator. But I want you to look at something here. So this says that HTG started in the middle of COVID on a $21 million affordable housing community in Tallahassee. $21 million. Now, let's get into something here. They're going to deliver 96 apartments that people can only afford $315 to $930 a month. Good for you. Hey, Barry, they can't afford to build that. That's what I was saying yesterday. So, let's see, how did they get the money? They got an initial $15 million construction loan by Chase Bank. Then they got $16 million in low-income housing tax credits. That's that Section 42 stuff I was telling you about yesterday. And then they got a $4.8 million permanent loan. Did you follow that math? Let's go back. I think you missed that. So we've got $15 million in a construction loan. We've got $16 million in tax credits, 16 and 15. I'm not a math wizard, but I think that equals $31 million. And then another 4.8 from Freddie Mac through Walker Dunlap. That's $35 million. Funny. This thing was supposed to only cost $21 million. How'd you raise 35? How did you raise 35? How did you raise $14 million more than what the entire development costs? Well, you have to understand what this is. This $15 million loan that they took out was taken out by these tax credits. Did you see that shift in wealth? Did you see that? How quick it was in that one sentence? Hey, Chase, give me 15 million so I can build this loan, and I have another 4.8 coming from another person, another government entity. So there's my 21 million, 15 plus 4.8, close to 21 million. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 16 million in tax credits, and I'm going to get rid of that $15 million loan. Just going to stroke you to check back. And now all I have is a $4.8 million loan on a $21 million project. Do you think you'd want to do a deal like that? Do you think that you'd let people, low-income people moving in, if it's not really costing you anything? Now understand, with a developer, you can have anywhere between 5 to 20% as a development fee. Just a fee for what you're doing. So you take that, 15, and let's just say it's 10%. That's $2 million off the top, just for finding and creating something for affordable housing. Places where they burnt out things and left shells and screaming for help. That's how it's done. And it doesn't have to be done on this large of a scale. I'm just showing you how it's done. And so I dug some more. And when I dug some more, now I find out they're doing a $36 million deal in Miami-Dade. What are they doing here? Well, it looks like it's pretty much the same thing. Let me blow this up for you so you guys can understand. The other one was in Tallahassee. This one is in Miami-Dade. $36 million project. Now let's go through, where is the money coming from? You ready for this one? They got $23 million in tax credits and $30 million in loans, and 3 more. So they've got nearly, 30 plus 3 is 33, and 23 more is 56 or $57 million in funding. But wait a minute. It's only a $36 million development. What happened? Well, see this $23 million they got here, and then they got the tax credits to bail them out again. So they're getting these deals done basically for free. Obviously, these guys are experienced. They've been doing it for some time. Top-notch organization. But they're tied into the government, and they know where these properties are that are, quote, in opportunity zones. I mentioned that yesterday. Opportunity zones where you get these low-income housing tax credits. Are you starting to see this? Now they did another one. This one's in Hollywood. This came out today. It's going to open in August 2021. And then look at what it says. The project is under construction. But wait a minute. We're in a lockdown. We're in COVID. There's nothing. You got to stay in the house. Put on the mask. We're all going to die. But the construction people are out there hammering. They've got the big cranes. They're doing stuff. They're getting funding. It's money shifting hands going into, look at this place. This is beautiful. I love that it's mixed use. Mixed use meaning commercial stuff on the bottom, and then you've got apartments on the top. 96 unit mixed income development in Hollywood, another 36 million, and we're seeing the same thing here. We're gonna get 28 million from Chase. We're gonna get 9 million from Walker through Freddie Mac, and then we're gonna get 26 million in low income housing tax credits. Do the math yourself. Doesn't add up, but it does. What we're seeing, and as I've been digging into this, we're seeing a transfer of wealth and a transfer of funds, completely legal, completely perfect gentrification into these low-income urban areas so that everybody involved is making some money. And the government is patting you on the back and saying, here's 20 million, go take care of it, get it done. Grant Cardone always talks about how he's not involved in buying single-family homes anymore, and he's only doing multifamily developments, and he's buying, giant apartment complexes, because that's where the money is. That's where the real money is. When you're talking these kind of dollars and you've got government underwriting, and you can put together a package that makes sense. The money is there. Again, I showed you where the map was yesterday's video of the opportunity zones just here in Florida. Maybe start thinking about, what can I do? I mean, I don't say you have to go out first time out the gate and build a 96 unit mixed income development property. Maybe you're building a quad. Maybe you're building an 8-plex. Maybe you're, 10, 12 buildings. Finding, these spots. I mean, crap, we're in South Florida. There is a ton of places where you can find either vacant land or blighted areas where you can go in and say, listen, we're going to give these underprivileged people a beautiful place to live, but we need the money from the government to give it to us. And I know you need it because you're all woke right now. You got the wokeness. You're taking Aunt Jemima off the pancake box. Uncle Ben, your time is ticking. The guy on a cream of wheat, you're almost done too. It's our time. Yeah, I understand. I've got the skin tone to begin jumping on some of this stuff, and you doggone right I am. But I want to share it with you guys so you can see what's happening. It's not about skating where the puck is. It's about skating where the puck is going to be. While you're toiling looking at single-family homes and you're toiling trying to figure out how you're going to get this seller, well, let that stuff fuel your vision down the road. As my friend, hopefully will be on Monday, will tell you, with people buying cash sight unseen, you're going to be making some commissions. You're going to be making some house flipping money. And then when you get that money, start planning on doing some development or even better, some redevelopment. So here's another one that they did. This article was from May, a couple weeks ago. And again, this one's 1,000 mixed income units in another, Miami-Dade broke down area. Now this one is what I really want to show you. I'm going to show you a paragraph here, and I want you to take a look at this and really understand what I'm saying here. It talks about where these places are, and God knows, if you know Overtown, you know this is not nice area, and they're going to put millions of dollars into building this place. But as you start looking, and they're talking, where can you afford to buy and rent different things, and they go through all the different areas of town here that where the rental is maybe way too high for people, and they need people to come in with housing for them. But something jumped out at me as I read this article, and it was this paragraph right here. Prior to the pandemic, I hope you can see it, we were in an affordable housing crisis. Miami was ground zero. Some of the people that wanted and needed affordable housing did not qualify prior to the pandemic. Now they do, because of the sharp unemployment spike. The demand for units just went up exponentially. I'm going to have to zoom that in. I want you to look at that paragraph. If you're still watching, or if you're not watching, rewind it and look at this. Prior to the pandemic, we were in an affordable housing crisis. There was already a problem. Miami was ground zero. Some of the people that wanted and needed affordable housing did not qualify prior to the pandemic. But yippee-ki-yay, now they do. Because of the sharp unemployment spike because of the COVID, the demand for units just went up, and I love that word, exponentially. You got to think about that. Look at what my boy here said. You got to be greedy when others are fearful. Lots of fear running around. It's all over the place. People don't know what to do, and it's right there in front of you. This is why I'm focusing on real estate again. I saw this happening. I saw where the money was moving to. I saw what was going on in inner cities. It triggered my memory back to when, as I said yesterday, my dad was in a National Guard guarding the riots with a smile. He knew as a general contractor what was about to happen. And damn if they just didn't say it in black and white on this website. Now, because of the COVID, unemployment spike. No other reason. Demand for units just went up exponentially. They just created a market. A market for wealth building has just been built and put on a table for us. I just don't know what you're going to do to take advantage of it. So, there's some sites here. I saw this guy who wrote this article. It goes, the urban redevelopment trend and how to capitalize on it. People are not really sure. They're seeing something here. This was before the COVID, obviously, and smart people are looking. They're now seeing this stuff and going, there might be something to this inner city housing. There might be something to this affordable housing dilemma. Maybe we should help the black people. Maybe we should help the low-income black people and help them realize wealth. You got to start looking. Here's where something else jumped at me. I'm a big Facebook proponent. I've been doing Facebook ads for a long time, and I just noticed this. Actually, I didn't notice it. A buddy sent it to me. You got to check this out. Facebook is now giving $100 million to black-owned small businesses. $100 million to black-owned small businesses. I know this isn't fair. I know it's not fair, but it doesn't mean you can't capitalize on it. It doesn't mean you can't seize this opportunity. The company down here who handles a lot of the tax credits is the Florida Housing Finance Corporation. Their website is just a cornucopia of information that you can go through here to find out how to get some of these reappropriated dollars, these tax credits, how to use them to develop in the inner cities, in these same cities that were burned up, rioted, blighted. Think, yes, COVID was awful. A lot of people succumbed. Who knows what percentage of them were real. But think behind the motivation. Think about what opportunities lie ahead. Think about how you can capitalize. Think about how you can raise funds to take advantage of some of this. I know my next move is to put together a fund and begin raising money to buy and redevelop properties in these inner city neighborhoods. Once you do that, then you go ahead and bring in the people like the Florida Housing Finance, and you get them to, help you out with the tax credits and everything else. Look at the various different things down here. Let me just blow this up so you can see. You've got home buyers and renters, lenders and realtors, developers, and that's the longest one. All kinds of grants. They're ready. I can't wait. It's money time. And if you don't like what I'm saying, I'm sure there are some people, but I'm not fearful. I'm about to get greedy as a you-know-what. I'm about to crank up some inner city stuff. I'm about to go ahead and get me some of that woke money. You got it. You have to at this point. What are you going to do? Stay around in the mask and hope that somebody's, things are going to get better? You're going to worry about everybody dying? I want you to worry about everybody dying. I want these people completely in fear. You know why? It's because what my buddy Warren says right here. The more you stay in fear, the more greedy I'm going to become. I want you to be worried about Trump's rally. I want you to be worried about college football and pro football. I want you to be worried about baseball coming back. You stay in fear. The rest of us are going to go ahead and learn how to prosper and take advantage of this opportunity. There's no other way. So I hope this was enlightening for you. I'll keep going on about it. I'll tell you tomorrow what the numbers look like on the corona, and we'll just keep trucking on. Hopefully I'll get my friend on next week and we can talk about what's going on over in the Sarasota side of things. But I'm pretty sure, as I showed you on that map yesterday, there's a huge swath of opportunity zone over there. I just want to leave you with that quote again. This is the most important thing, even better than Warren's quote, was what they said here. I'm going to read it one more time. Prior to the pandemic, we were in an affordable housing crisis. Miami was ground zero. Some of the people that wanted and needed affordable housing did not qualify prior to the pandemic. Now they do, because of the sharp unemployment spike because of the corona. Demand for units just went up exponentially. You don't have to be an economist to know when demand spikes what you need to be doing. I'll talk to you tomorrow.